50 years ago, the commies had a plan and it worked. Did we lose? This one I really wanted to watch with you guys. It's all about how the commies like plan to like screw us over and how a lot of it has come to fruition.
Simone, I'm excited to be here with you today. Today we are going to be asking the question, did the communists win with their goals in the United States? So this rabbit hole was prompted for me by a Chris Williamson clip where he had on a guest, Isabel Brown, who was going over a list that she reported to be the communist goals for the United States circa 1960. She sort of misstated this list, implying that it was read into the congressional record by the Communist Party. It was not. It was read into the record by a Republican anti-communist and was a review of the notes on the Communist Party and their goals circa 1963
It's
by
just
an
impressive.
FBI agent,
They're married.
Cleon Skousen. So not a crackpot or anything like this. This was an FBI agent whose goal was in the FBI was to track and to understand the Communist Party's goals circa 1963. All
Okay.
right?
Yeah. And it's not like they were incredibly secret about their goals. So this can't be that inaccurate.
Yeah, well, you're going to be shocked by this list. You're going to be
Really?
shocked. She read a few of them, and I was like, I need to go into the full thing. I need to look
Yes.
up the history of this list. Like, I'm not going to go over every single one of the points that he had read into it because some of them would just get boring, but we're going to have enough material to shock you.
Oh my
So
gosh.
and I'm not going to be reading them in order either. So let's start
Okay.
here, okay? Transfer some of the power of arrest from the police to social agencies. Treat all behavioral problems as psychiatric disorders, which no one but psychologists can understand or treat.
What?
This was the 1960s, early 1960s. Psychiatrists weren't even a thing.
Isn't
at
that
point.
fucking crazy?
Not like commonly.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Did we lose the Cold War? We lost the Cold War. We lost the Cold War.
The Cold War. When I read through this, you're going to be like, we lost the Cold War. We were just psyoped into believing we won.
So like, well, the thing is I don't think like that part necessarily. Well, I guess it is true. If that were, well, it would be basically like we would have won the Cold War, but they had. It's like, you know, when you're in a fight, like in like an MMO or something like that, and you win you kill the other person, but you have a lot of dots and you don't clear them, and then you just die. Yeah, it's basically what happened, right? Is they had the dots ticking and we ignored them. Yeah.
I almost at the end of this like believe that there's like a communist utopia in Russia right now, and that's where we've been sending all our defrauded Somali dollars.
Apparently.
Yeah. And then outside the US, everything's still going, and we've just been psyoped into believing that the Cold War is over and that we won to make us happy.
For real? What is happening? I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Oh God.
Oh my God! Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon!
Здравствуйте, to your dad.
My son is a communist!
Okay, next. Dominate the psychiatric profession and use mental health laws as a means of gaining coercive control over those who oppose communist goals. Laws as a means. Next. Dominate the psychiatric profession and use mental health laws as a means of gaining coercive control over those who oppose communist goals. Consider the way that they use things like trans mental health laws to achieve other goals they have later down on this list.
Huh.
Jeez.
First, given that this does seem to have been the plan, it's a pretty clever plan.
No,
right?
yeah.
It was, again, it was like the only way, right? Like they didn't have, like, we need to understand this, that America is so fucking strong, like militarily and stuff. This also applies, like, right, this applies like especially right now. We're so strong militarily and just resource wise that there is no fucking hope for people to attack us in any way other than like a cultural battle. This is like the dude, like you're playing like Civ, right? And like one country is like teched up so hard and their army is so fucking big. You have to do like religious war or like culture war. It's the only way to win them. Like either, you know, one of those victories, right? Like you have to like culture bomb, right? And it's like, we have to realize that that is how everyone would attack us. Because it just makes sense. Like keeping our heads in like a conventional warfare sort of thing is just retarded. Because it's so obvious that that is how they would have to attack us.
If you go, we rewind to the 1950s, 1960s, like, all right, how do we take out these? It is, yeah, I mean, it's incredibly clever. I never would have thought of it, but in terms of destroying a country from the inside, there's this one episode in earlier Doctor Who where the doctor has this like plan where he's like, oh, I know how to like single-handedly take down this prime minister. And he, standing next to her, like turns to a journalist who's always there, who is also there, and says, she looks tired. And that's supposed to be like, that's the end of her career. He just ended it by saying that and like sowed this doubt. But this is so much more like, this is the real version of that, where like Russia was like, oh, that's not just you being a dick. It's a mental health thing that needs to be systematically defended.
He is not talking about Russia's goals for the United States. These were the goals of the American Communist Party at the time, how they were going to dismantle the United States.
That is so, it's because, but then why?
And this
why
all,
would you, I mean, because presumably.
This, again, guys, there's so much evidence of this, by the way. Like, it's not even just this piece of evidence. Again, Yuri Bezmenov talked about a lot of this already and said that this was their plan. And then we just were like, how, nobody took it seriously. But that is like nobody took it seriously, and here we are.
The goal
So,
of destabilizing the U.S. means that then they can take over. But what is left to take over once you've done that to a country?
Well, they wanted to sell us out to the communists in Russia. We'll go over this. It didn't work out their way, but they have achieved all of their other goals other than that one. It really seems to be about destroying the United States above all else and destroying the institutions that were most resistant to them, specifically religious institutions.
So it's not about brokering in some new age or transition. It's just out of hatred for the United States.
I mean, there does appear to be a new age or transition. It's the communist order, right? Like they've got to break down the existing social structure before they can create a new one or offer a new one. We'll even go into how they plan to run their revolution and everything like that.
Well, what good is a communist citizen if they're like crippled by anxiety and statutorily
because
given
then
the right
they
to
can't
not
fight
work
back against the government.
The other thing too is I don't think that those people are the intended. I don't think that, and Yuri Bezmenov talks about this, by the way, is that those people, like all of the, the super commie, turbo woke, LGBTQ, LMNOP people, they're not the intended people to inherit the communist utopia. They're pawns, basically. And whenever it happens, whenever they do achieve control, they're going to call all of those people.
Yeah, but isn't it, I guess in a post-AGI world, a post-singularity world, you don't need workers. Like the perfect communist state that has never been tried has a lot of
workers to work hard, Simone. Like I think you're confused about this.
Socialism
Communists treat their workers like slaves. Like that's the way communist states have always operated. They don't actually need.
So I guess it was just, was the plan a rug pull? Like systematically, mentally drive people insane?
How about we go through all of the plans and then
okay,
you can
yeah, yes, yeah, okay. Let's try to understand this better.
Next here, okay? Discredit the family as an institution, encourage promiscuity and easy divorce.
Oh boy.
By the way, if you're unfamiliar with the legal changes in the
Damn. 3 for 3 right now, right? Chat 3 for 3.
United States post 1960s, not only has promiscuity obviously become very popular, the New York Times regularly writing about polyamory and stuff like this, but the idea of easy divorce has become way easier, and there has been explicit attacks. Like BLM saw the family unit as one of their core things that they wanted to target and discredit. Okay. Emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents, attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and the retarding of children to the suppressive influence of parents.
Okay. The retarding of children to the
Yeah, basically,
suppressive
they're like,
influence of
we
parents.
want to retard children.
We
and
must
then we'll
retard the
blame
children.
on the parents.
I love that wording.
Make children retard again.
Blame parents on the results of that.
That is so good.
And every time somebody's like, well, what about the parents? Right? You know, they're running a communist up. They're running a communist up. Come on, guys. I always hate that whiny, ooh, what about the parents? It's like, look, obviously, it's really about the family culture. Like, the parents cannot draconianly police everything a kid does. They need to create a culture where the negatives of society don't get their hooks in the kid to the same extent.
Yep.
But by creating this learned helplessness, communists were able to degrade portions of our society. Okay, next. Gain control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. Again, note here, I am not editorializing these. I am not, this is what was read into the congressional record. Okay?
Well, I guess that explains the witch hunt that took place in that sense, right? Wasn't there a big blacklist because there was this intense fear
Yep.
of people taking over the media? So it sounds like this
And
was
they did.
internalized and taken seriously.
They did take over the media. I mean, we've seen this today, right? You know,
Yeah,
the media
this is
is what
true.
in the 1960s would be called communists. A vast majority of people with influence, I'd say well over 80% of people with influence in any of the major media organizations would, via 1963, be ascribed as a hardline communist.
This is true.
Okay, next.
One moment. Octavian, what's up, buddy? Do you need something?
I made a fox out of clay.
Oh my god, they had to
I'm so
censor
glad.
it.
Yeah, I
You
made.
should get
What's
your
going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah,
get your
I can-
swimsuit ready to go out and play in the creek.
Okay,
Thank you, friend.
I got wood for my bedroom.
next point here. Continue, note the word here, continue. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to, quote, eliminate all good sculpture from.
Did she say go play in, hold on. Did she say go play in the creek? Is that what she said? That's awesome. That's so
Continue,
awesome, man.
note the word here, continue. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to, quote, eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, meaningless forms.
Wait,
Building communist cell was told to, quote, eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, meaningless forms.
wait. So there's a reason for that. There's a reason
This
for the
came-
proliferation of heinously ugly statues everywhere in the United States.
Everything ugly.
This is thank you. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
no,
Because
the-
it didn't make any sense. And now we just know every time we walk by some misshapen, disgusting thing in the street, it's the commies. It's actually
commies.
literally the commies.
It's not just public stuff now. It's video games. I mean, look at Mixtape. Look at the games they're pushing on
Mixtape,
us.
yep.
Oh my god. Well, no. Mixtape was created by the daughter of one of the biggest
Who's a
capitalists.
super big communist. All of these rich people are communists because that just institutionalizes their power. That's why rich people are so pro-commie laws, because they know that they'll be at the
Rognar says, what do you think of the massive internet censorship that occurred during COVID? It was to maintain media control, and it's been a largely successful op everywhere. Mhm.
top of the communist system, which is what has happened.
I mean, that was yeah, I mean that was when a lot of stuff kind of went really, really hard during COVID, right? That was like kind of the peak of the whole woke thing, right? So that does make a lot of sense, Ragnar.
Communist system, which is what has happened generally, except in China, when you had communist revolutions.
I don't think that's true. He's buddies with Trump.
Oh, he is, but his daughter isn't.
I could
She
see her
never
being a
earned
commie.
anything.
Yeah,
She
I could see her being a commie.
institutionalize her power in a way the dad doesn't. The dad's productive. The dad never needs to worry. She just inherited an aristocratic position, you know, like her, Hassan Piker, Che Guevara, Fidel Castro. Actually, we have a whole video on this.
On the Nepo
What
babies of
famous communists
communism.
were born
Yeah.
with?
Yeah.
But Zorha and Mondami, parents were famous directors who have done like movies that like you've heard of before. Like all of them were famous, super, super wealthy kids going around on their polo, back in the, anyway. But I note here that this is actually a quote from a communist organization that was directed at another communist organization that they picked up as the FBI. So this isn't, again, editorialization. Eliminate all good sculptures from parks and buildings. Substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms.
Which is what they
Shapeless,
did. Yeah.
awkward, and that completely. Remember just walking around Palo Alto and you just
This actually, again, it ties into like what we were talking about earlier, right? About how even something so simple as like decor or again clothing, right, that you wear, these things actually have an effect on you psychologically. Like they even like small micro levels, like again, dressing for the part puts your mind in the mood. Seeing these grotesque, ugly things over and over again, right?
Who the fuck is Leaflit?
Sorry, I heard a noise. It kind of messes up. It's like it's a small effect, but when we're talking about a battle that lasts for decades, those small percentages they chip off at you has a cumulative effect. Exactly what the elf man says. The elf man. Yeah, it has a cumulative effect. Yeah.
just be in a beautiful neighborhood and then suddenly like there would be some nightmare fuel just sitting there. God, yeah. Wow. Commies.
And we're going to talk about how they transmitted
Fucking
these
commies,
cultural
am I right,
values
guys?
through people not necessarily recognize. Actually, I'll just go into it right now. People can be like, well, okay, but how did a small communist party in the United States end up getting control of a Palo Alto housing committee, for example, right?
Actually, though, yeah.
Does that make sense? And the answer is, and this is why I pointed out in our Cuba video where we're like, it's so important that Trump takes out Cuba, which they're in the process of doing. Cuba played a major part in this. So Cuba for a long time has been funding organizations.
Yeah, and see, this is again like, oh, we need to like help Cuba. We need to open up trades, and we have to be there to save Cuba. Why? They've been hostile to us forever. What are you talking about?
With communist leaders and people who have like these playbooks.
Like, obviously, I know that the people of Cuba are suffering, but like, is that really my problem? I'm just being real. Is that really my problem? Like, is it like, am I going to allow the gun of like these innocent people are going to suffer to be pointed at my head when they're being hostile towards us and their systems are ones that do not match our systems? It's ridiculous. Why would we help them?
And keeping groups like Antifa and like the sort of rebellious leadership cast of ultra progressive movements in the United States on message and aware of what they're trying to do, even if they don't fully understand why. If we disrupt Cuba in this, this may be able to be pushed back on in significant ways. But anyway, continue.
This is shocking.
Control critics and directors of art museums.
Yeah, yep. And hence the art museums and all their disgustingly ugly meaningless art.
And then he has a quote here from another communist organization that they were spying on. Our plan is to promote ugliness, repulsive.
Anonymous says that true beauty is from a genetic level. We have technology nowadays for that to not really be that big of a problem. A lot of it, honestly, is effort, to be honest. And like, I'm not a particularly like beautiful person, and like I can 100% say that a lot of it is effort.
Who the fuck is
and if you don't
Leaflit?
believe me, look at the makeup videos. Just watch a single one, you'll see.
Meaningless art.
Repulsive meaning. I feel so heard. Oh my god, this is one of the most validating things ever. How is this? Oh my gosh.
Okay, next. present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, and healthy.
Oh,
Keep
boy.
in mind, this was 1963.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Because back then, like acceptance of that stuff was like not even close, right?
Really wasn't seen that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
here's a fun one. Infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with quote unquote social religion. Discredit the Bible and emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a quote unquote religious crutch. And they were wildly successful at this. This is one of the reasons when people are always like, why do you have your own weird version of Christianity? Why don't you go back to the... And I'm like, because they're where all of this was spread from, right? Like the progress pride flag went up on the churches before it went up in the schools, right? Like they have been the source of the rot. They were some of the first institutions to fall. The Vatican is a captured city at this point, right? Like,
Can I just say I fucking love it? Like Kick Chat is just fighting constantly. It's so peak. It's like I just see people in Kick Chat arguing like all day. It's great.
you guys,
Just
if
arguing.
you want to
with
do
each
your
other.
Reconquista with, what's his face? I like him.
An irrelevant meme. Oh my goodness, dude. What is... The less religion there is in the world, the more rational and intelligent people become. It's good religion is declining. That's kind of funny though. That's kind of funny though.
I like Redeemed Zoomer. Go for it. I think it's a waste of time until we are a larger and more cohesive movement than the existing sort of I just want to go back to the way things were movement, which I think obviously isn't going to work.
You know the hold on though. But I feel like that whole thing is a religion though. Am I wrong? I feel like that whole thing is a religion. Like the whole LGBT, LMNOP woke thing is a religion.
The way things were is what they were able to crack open. The way things were was incredibly unrobust. But anyway, to continue here. Eliminate prayer or any phase of religious expression in schools on the ground that it violates the principle of separation of church and state.
No boy. Well,
they did
my
that.
God, they nailed it. But I mean,
Yeah,
you
they
gotta
got us on
hand it to
everything.
them.
Mhm.
You know, apparently,
They were at least effective in this.
yeah.
Okay. Discredit the American Constitution by calling
Thank you, Gunham, for the bits. Reminds me of the Marvel Commies and Hydra in the Avengers. You thought you got them back in the day, but they just went underground and infiltrated political systems. In this case, the Dems. True. And thanks for the follows, everyone. Thank you.
it inadequate, old-fashioned, out of step with modern needs, and a hindrance to cooperation between nations on a worldwide basis. Discredit the American founding fathers, present them as selfish aristocrats who had no concern for the common man.
Wow.
Develop
They did that
the
too.
illusion that total
Dude, so far they've accomplished every single one of these. Am I wrong? They've gotten every single one so far. Yo, what's up, Anonymous Dragon Slayer? How's it going, dude? Communism, thank you so much for the sub, by the way. Communism will work next time. The other times that weren't really communism. Also, what's the definition of a cult?
disarmament by the United States would be a demonstration of moral strength. Do we not repeatedly see this today from leftist circles?
Wow.
Permit free trade between all nations, regardless of communist affiliation and regardless of whether or not the items could be used for war. Look at
Pretty
what
much
they kept trying to
mission
do with
accomplished.
Iran instead of just dealing with the Iranian situation, which Trump is finally doing. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Trump and the Jews, but bombing, you know, I saw a comment recently where they were like, yeah, like, I really don't like the Jews or Israel, but by God, they know how to just kill someone when they're fucking around. And I'm like, yeah, it's refreshing at this point, right? Somebody's fucking with you, you just murder them. You just cap their butt. And people are like, well, what if they put their clinic, or what if they put their garrisons of guerrillas and terrorists under schools and hospitals? And the Jews are like, well, we'll bomb.
Send 2 bombs. Let them know that if they're gonna put it on something like that, we send 2 bombs at a time. Yeah, That's what I would do if I were in charge and they were like, we put our base underneath a school. I'm like, all right, you get 3 bombs then.
Bomb them. And other people are like, well, what about the people? We'll just bomb them. Like, whatever. I don't care. They'll stop doing it. It will stop being.
Yeah, and the reason why, again, you have to do that is the Einzelgon thing from the movie. If you don't do it, it lets them, it gives them the understanding that it is of tactical advantage to do that. Sorry, not tactical, strategic. It is of strategic advantage to build all important facilities underneath hospitals and schools. That way they will not be bombed. They will not be bombed. So what you have to do is the instant they do that one time, you bomb the fuck out of it. You make them know that if they do that, you will bomb it harder. Basically, like normally I would send 1 bomb, but I will carpet bomb the fuck out of that place if you even try to do that. Then that will make it so in the future it'll prevent them from doing that as a strategy.
Differentially a good idea to do that if they realize we don't care. It's only because the international scene still freaks out over it that they kept doing that. They would have stopped the international scene and stopped being babies about it. But oh well.
Can we just go back to gas?
Continue here. Provide American aid to all nations, regardless of communist domination. Or I guess I could say here, anti-American affiliation, right? Like, why is U.S. aid giving tons of money to countries that hate us, right? And groups that hate us, right? And that hate us for the aid itself, right?
Yep.
Grant recognition to Red China, admit Red China into the UN.
Yeah,
Dude, they
stop calling it red.
They got us on everything, man. Like literally every single point, dude. It's like at this point, what did they not accomplish? You know what I mean? Like they got everything, every single thing.
China.
When they stop being communist, I mean, we pointed out in our episode, America's
baby
functioning
hates
more
commies,
communist
man.
than China now by an
What a
order of
base
about
child.
3-fold.
Yeah.
In terms of about any measure that you could measure, like go into. Okay, note here, this one I love, right, Simone? Promote the UN as the only hope for mankind.
Oh boy.
Chat, they got us, man. They got us, man. Fuck.
That was. Oh my god.
If its charter is rewritten, demand that it be set up as a one world government with its own independent armed forces. Some communist leaders believe the world can be taken over as easily by the UN as by Moscow. So hilariously, the UN, he's saying right, this was 1960s. He said the UN is a branch of communism. And
Yeah,
many communists,
but it makes so much
leaders
sense.
think that the UN can dominate the world better than Russia can. And with the collapse of Russian communism, see our recent episode, this means that NATO and the UN are likely bigger threats to
Dude, you know that Simone is psyoping you guys, right? You know that baby is a psyop, right? Are you guys getting psyoped? Who's getting psyoped here? Is you're getting psyoped right now?
American sovereignty than any other force in the world right now.
Even more evidence that you should drop it like it's hot. I tell you, man.
Drop it like it's hot. Look, if the Democrats can just randomly pull us out of like Panama, why can we not randomly pull out of the UN, right? Like,
Yeah.
their stupid little project.
Yeah.
Okay, next. Do away with all loyalty oaths. Capture one or both of the political parties in the United States. I like it that they thought big. Capture both, right? And this is something.
Look, they did dream big, but they achieved like their checklist here.
Yeah, all the way up,
They
yeah.
just went through it. They
I mean,
nailed
I
it.
think GOP Inc. before MAGA came in, before
I totally
Trump
agree.
came in,
I
right?
agree with Malcolm here.
Before we wash them out, the deontological.
I agree with Malcolm here that like they were close to getting the Republicans as well.
Faction of the Republican Party is not particularly far from a lot of these
Who the
ideologies.
fuck is Leaflit?
Right? They appear to be focused on sowing division within a voting bloc that we should be using to win through, racialist agendas, through agendas that are just not winning in the polls right now, and through trying to peel, as we pointed out, like Fuentes voting Democrat, trying to peel Republicans out of the coalition so that these people can win, right? Like we repeatedly see the agents of the communists understand their role, right? This is where we get organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center being the, it appears now, primary donor to the Ku Klux Klan, right? Like, and you can see our episode where we go through the numbers on that.
That
to
was
show that
crazy,
it was likely
man.
their primary source of external funds, which is wild, right?
The primary source of funds to the Ku Klux Klan. The fucking Democrats. Dude, that's fucking hilarious. I mean, what changed? What changed, right, guys? Seems about what I expected, actually.
Not just them, but the American Nazi Party, a lot of this stuff is being funded by these organizations to cause division. And like, we need to be aware of this. They want to take over our party as well. And we cannot allow that. Next. And they want to make us weak. If somebody comes to you and they say, oh, we as Americans, we shouldn't be using genetic technology. We shouldn't be using AI technology. These individuals are of the camp, like, let's de-arm. Let's neuter ourselves so we can't fight back. In a world where
Well, and contrast this to the attitude toward AI and technology that you see in China, where they're like, yeah, AI is good. Let's go. Absolutely. This is going to make people's lives better. Something's going on here.
Well, I don't care about people. I want the autonomous drone swarms. Okay.
Me too, man.
There's a lot of fun stuff we can do with genetic technology as it gets better. But to continue here.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't know about this, there were recently some reports that came out in terms of in terms of AI advancement of medical science and just science in general. We are starting to see agentic AI really take off in those fields, and like the what do you call it, the forecast for like the speed at which things are going to occur is going to be really, really fast. It's as long as, like, you know, we don't quango it up, and we don't quango it up, we could solve probably cancer in like a couple of years at this point. As long as we don't quango it up and go like, oh, but like the ethics and the AI, like, but the Skynet. As long as we don't do that, we could start curing everything. In fact, I asked an AI earlier. I was like, with agentic AI, if we were able to, you know, remove some of the rules behind, you know, if we were to like not worry about it, and there was like no pushback, and we just focused all of our focused a lot of AI efforts towards health. What's it looking like? And then like it said like we could probably be immortal in like 5 years. Yeah, if we just, everybody got out of the way and we just let, like, we worked with AI to like find solutions. Yeah, we could do it in 5 years. But it's not going to happen because, you know, there's a lot of interest, and people are going to, you know, Quango's going to quang and cry about AI and stuff like that. So it's and by the way, when I say that immortality in 5 years, I don't mean like in 5 years we'll be like, you know, you'll be able to take a pill and be immortal. No, all it means is that like human lifespan increases by 1 year for every year. It has to increase for 1 year for every year that you're alive. Does that make sense? Once you reach the point where your lifespan increases by 1 year for every 1 year that you live, then you effectively have reached that point.
Sorry, I didn't want to name any of it, lest I get clipped. Use technical decisions of the
Yes,
courts
longevity, escape velocity, exactly.
to weaken American institutions by claiming their activities violate civil rights.
Just put brains in a jar. That one said it would take a little bit longer for that. There's a lot of issues with that, but I mean, it's totally doable. The estimates I've seen are that it's doable in like 8 years if you go ethics off, basically. But we're talking like ethics off. We're gonna have to like get some prisoners, you know, and be like, well, you're on death row, bro.
Who the fuck is Leaflit?
Get control of the schools.
It's gonna take some special things, basically.
Transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda.
Oh God. Oh, it's a little on the nose.
It's a little on the nose, yeah. Soften the curriculum. Get control of teachers associations.
Yep, they got the
Soften
teachers
curriculum.
associations.
Get control of teachers association.
Yeah, which is what they've done.
No, the teachers union.
Put the party line in textbooks.
So basically everything China's willing to do. Yeah. We might be cooked. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
But they did.
Who
They
the
did.
fuck is Leaflit?
You know what? If anything, I kind of
Biological immortality is physically possible. There are already animals that are biologically immortal. Yeah. But like, it's really like, guys, like, it's really crazy. I looked into it. Actually, that was the alternate video I was gonna watch instead of this one. Like, the speed at which like we're developing medical technology right now and scientific technology is insane. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, AI is so ridiculous right now. Like, it is so crazy. Like let me just show you like how crazy it is. Okay. New project, add folder, let's do ice folder, create a video game in which create a video game where create a top-down video game where I play as an ICE agent and I have to lasso illegal immigrants and drag them back across the border and throw them on the other side. There is a river on one side. There's a river in the middle, and I have to chase them and aim the lasso using my mouse. There is a bit of delay as I swing the lasso and throw it, so I have to predict their movement slightly, and then when I catch them, I can drag them back over to the other side. We'll let that run.
now just I'm like, what? We lost the Cold War. They won. Maybe commies are a little more competent than I thought they were. And apparently the US is a lot more spineless than I thought it was. I'm kind of humiliated here.
Because we treated our adversaries with respect while they
Oh my god, this thing is so woke. What do you mean you can't? Oh my goodness. We're gonna make them penguins instead, and it's gonna be Arctic surgeon. Oh my god, no. No. Make it illegal immigrants. Make it the Mexico-Texas border. I want to lasso people. Ugh. Okay, make them monkeys instead of humans. Jeez, fucking shit. Make it so they're wearing sombreros. Hey, I didn't do this. The AI did this. Okay, guys? I wanted to make them humans. Oh, fuck. Okay, you know what? Whatever. All right. Implement the game, please. Ugh.
didn't treat us with respect. And we need to stop doing this, right? We need to be willing to understand that we are playing for the future of human civilization.
Fucking
And,
Google,
um,
man.
like-
Fucking Google, dude. Google is woke as fuck, by the way. Like, Google is so fucking woke, man. It's like unreal.
No, I think the reason why this worked, why they were able to pull this off, is it happened just as increasing numbers and proportions of women entered the workforce. And these kinds of ideologies are exactly the ones that they'd be like, yeah, we should be doing this. We should be. And that, I think, unfortunately,
Oh, the fucking river, bro. Yeah, they're fucking sneaky, bro. Gotcha, bitch. But yeah, see if I could. Do you see how fast that was, chat? Do you see how fucking fast this was? Oh my god, you literally dragged them across. Hold on. Look, I'm dragging him. EX count, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Did I just one prompt the whole last game? Yeah, I did. That's how crazy agentic AI is now. EX count, thank you so much for the raid, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. How you doing? Watching a video about commies, by the way. Yeah, I did that in one prompt, by the way. Yeah. I did it literally right now.
Is a bigger factor in this than I would like to admit. I don't think that in a patriarchal society this would have gotten by us. Don't you think so though?
Probably. I mean, I think that that's definitely one thing. Okay. So where were they here? Gain control of student newspapers, use student riots to foment public protests against programs or organizations which are under communist attack, belittle all forms of American culture, and discourage the teaching of American history on the ground that it was only a minor part of the quote unquote.
Sorry, the point of me showing you that is just like how much AI has advanced in like the last couple like months, right? Because if you guys remember, before it's like took a lot longer to do things like that. Super fast now. I even have a Marine game, by the way. I made one last night just for fun. What? What do you mean, miss? But anyway, you get it, basically. Anyway. AI is really crazy now. And, yeah.
Big picture, give more on the ground that it was only a minor part of the quote unquote big picture. Give
the game uses the teacher RPG mechanics. It does, yeah.
More emphasis to Russian history since the communists took over. Now, they didn't get this second part, but they definitely got the first part. And to focus on communist history, like if you look at American education systems now, it's just like slavery, Native Americans, what is it, like Jim Crow laws, stuff like this, just like,
that was a big part of my public school education. Plus, when you think about
the AI I used, that's Gemini 3.5 Flash Medium on Google Anti-Gravity.
Rioting students, this is just such a big theme on college campuses, especially recently. It's just
another one they did here, eliminate the House Committee on
I need to do that, Ark. You're right. I do need to do that.
Don't we still have that?
I'm pretty sure we don't. The House Committee on Un-American Activities. Let's have a look.
We still have that.
The standing committee. It was made a permanent committee of the House in 1945.
Okay, there we go. I thought so because I've heard it in headlines. So
it was abolished in the late 1950s and 1960s. Opinion largely turned against it, and it was rebranded as the House Committee on Internal Security, and then it was entirely abolished in 1975.
Okay.
So again, they won.
They nailed it.
That's crazy, man.
Like,
they got everything.
Respect.
Support any movement to give centralized control over any part of the culture, education, social agencies, welfare programs, mental health clinics, etc.
Thank you, Mufasa-san, for the gift sub as well. And thank you, 72 Archetypist, for the 100. Yeah, Leaflit, embrace to average science philosophy, make neat gun for the sake of those who are still alive.
Infiltrate and gain control of more unions. They're already in unions. Infiltrate and gain control of big business. That wasn't an accident. That was the plan, is controlling big business.
Damn.
They always saw big business not as the enemy of communism, but as their goal for bringing it about. Overthrow all colonial governments before native populations are ready for self-government, and internationalize the Panama Canal, another thing they achieved.
Jeez.
Wow. How... So let's say, we're in a meeting of the Socialist Party in the US. It's like, hey, let's do all these things. I would be sitting there thinking, yeah, like, but we need to have leaders permeating every element of government and society to make this work. We need all the wealthiest people to be communists and to be a member of this party and a part of this strategic initiative. I don't understand how this. I mean, well, I don't have a good explanation as to how these things ended up happening anyway, aside from women tend to have more aligned with Communist Party
Well, I think the
desires
answer is pretty clear. They took over our university system first. It was first target elite universities. We saw this happening when we were at university. And a lot of the kids who are cheering for this stuff do not understand what they're actually fighting for. The people who understand the bigger picture are their handlers, often in Havana. And I just don't think that people got how much Cuba was organizing behind the scenes and how relevant Cuba is in managing.
Can I link this to try shit by one of Asvin's mods? Yeah, of course. Yeah. I love Base Camp. I love Base Camp. I would love for Asvin to watch one of their videos. So I will link it to you right now. Like it would make me so happy if Asvin checked them out.
The wider communist project in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, well, we should. I mean, Hassan just had that.
Leaflit?
Well, it wasn't obviously Hassan's event, but Hassan was at a very major event there just recently.
Well, I mean, to understand how competent Havana has been at this stuff, they took over Venezuela's government, right? Like when we took back Venezuela was shipping them basically free oil to keep the lights on, right? Like that is how Havana operated. It treated the rest of the world, countries that they would go in, infiltrate, and essentially take over. They had taken over the vast majority of the president's guard. They had taken over the vast majority of leadership positions within the military in Venezuela. And they used that to keep control of the country and siphon all the money out of it. This is what the USSR did for its surrounding countries and stuff like that. That is what their goal is for the United States. That is what they do with socialists in the United States, right? Like the fight against Cuba is far more existential for the United States than I think many Americans believe, because when you see all of these, you're like, this seems too perfect. How is it all organized? And the key is gain control of the elite institutions, make this cool, make it cool to a secret Havana-backed education, which you'll often see from leading groups like Antifa and stuff like that. They'll be like, no, this guy's legit. He went to one of the Havana training camps, right?
That's right. Yes, Antifa too. Yeah. Oh. So you're trying to say that even going back to the 70s, this was all happening in Cuba?
A lot of it was organized in Russia in the 70s, and then it sort of became externalized to Cuba, and that's where the key sort of organization ran from after that. But yeah, Cuba has been where the operations to brainwash parts of the it makes sense. It's closer to the United States. Like you operate them out of there, and they never really stopped. They still hold regular for like American socialists and stuff like that, like yearly conventions. They basically go and they're told what to do and how to act and how to contact their handlers. And yeah, I mean, it's all very organized. Now, a lot of this is organic, I will say. Like, it's not all top down. But I think more of it is top down than people realize, or even the people on the ground implementing the stuff realize. And I think it's our job, and I really make an effort to do this, to create a new right or tech right opposite of this, right? Where a fairly small yet highly organized and value aligned group of individuals can cross coordinate and build messaging across channels, and then use that messaging to with careful directionality break apart and eventually recreate society in the image that we are aiming for, in the same way the communists achieved, right? The problem is that the communists were interested in end goals. And the old version of conservatism that they were fighting against was very deontological. And so they didn't really have a toolkit that could compete against an organization that was focused on and like actually winning, right? Like,
yeah, like basically we were more concerned with the rules than we were concerned with winning. And since the other side doesn't really give a shit about the rules, then this is like what I was talking about, like the China thing as well.
that they were technically correct in the things that they were doing, not that this was going to have some like wider culture war in state, right? And so they would, blow
The
stuff up.
conservatives are still like this,
somebody
dude.
could
They
point out to them,
are.
they're like, well, if you make the movie like that, then nobody's going to buy it, right? They're like, if you make a movie that's all like morally preachy and everything like that, and it doesn't have some fun to it, then nobody's going to watch it. And meanwhile, the communists were like, oh no, throw in degeneracy, throw in whatever, right? So they were able to win. But now communists control the media industry, and they've made all media, all video games, shapeless blobs. And so we come in, we're like, hey, you can throw some sexy women in it without going full degen. And people are like, no, says some of the old rage. It's like, no, I won't do this. Like, no, this is how they have.
They're so concerned with their rules that they allow themselves to lose. This is like what I was talking about like how the super like deontological people, they're completely willing to scuttle everything just so that they can uphold their own principles. Yeah. This is what I mean about like how certain people are, like certain people in the, on the right, and this is particularly a lot of the kind of virtue signaling, like religious people, they are willing to, for their own like head patting themselves and patting themselves on the back, they are willing to like completely burn all bridges to people that could actually save things, basically. Yep. In order to uphold their values, they'll destroy everything.
Handcuffed themselves at this point. They have hobbled themselves at this point. We can win the culture war at this point. And the key to us winning the next stage of the culture war is AI, I think. And I think we're beginning to see what that looks like through products like our fab, where we're trying to build like our own AI ecosystem for this space. But
it's great, by the way.
In addition to that, you have the Skybrow cinematic universe. You have these constant, songs and media that are created with conservative themes and that are catchy. I mean, for example, our kid, the song that he sings most these days is the Holy Ball song about pronouns, like too many pronouns, and he loves it.
You didn't hear that Holy Ball if you're here, but I don't know if you heard that Holy Ball. I don't even hear, man. But like, damn,
like this is the mind of a kid who sees this and has actually been psyops into singing a song regularly as he walks along. Why like the pronoun community and alphabet soup community is bad and a problem.
MMIWG2
That's the one. Damn.
SLGBT. Yeah. MAIMLSF tuning. LTMRN.
So true, man.
Learning. DTSV with an AD burner. Burlow, rock high, real transformer.
That is absolutely astounding to
Yeah.
me. Like, if you talk about winning the culture
Dude, Panda,
war,
thank you so much.
that's
Thank you.
what it looks like, okay? We don't even like show our kid. I wouldn't even understand why anyone would show their kids modern cartoons at this point, right? Like if you're a conservative parent, you can watch all the old cartoons for free, right? Like,
well, we're all paying for YouTube Premium, but yeah, I've heard from multiple other parents who are like, yeah, that's all we're watching is old cartoons, typically on YouTube Premium, and that's kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you watching anything else with your kids these days?
Yeah,
it's true.
And I think that what's also interesting is that it means that they're not watching Disney, because Disney is so about
Disney
really
is
shooting themselves
awful.
in the foot. Not only are they losing this generation of youth in terms of new content and pricing them out of parks as children, but they're not going to have Disney adults in the next generation, because an entire generation of kids,
entire Disney adults exist on the nostalgia of childhood. And they're first off, they're not breeding. They're not breeding because they're Disney adults, a lot of them. And then also, a lot of people are just not exposing their children to Disney. So it's cooked.
Wasn't just raised without seeing new Disney movies. They were raised without seeing old Disney movies, because Disney never making those movies free or easily accessible has been a enormous strategic misstep.
Well, yeah, and it's a shame too because our kids have occasionally seen on YouTube, like pipe.
Dude, what if they just said the board meeting goes like this? Well, we have determined that people aren't going to know about our old stuff anymore. Okay, it is time to release 2 Disney subscriptions, Disney and Disney Gay.
Clips of
So that we can separate the gay.
songs from like The Lion King or The Little Mermaid, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" Like, we would be watching old Disney movies if we could,
Yeah.
but we can't, so we don't.
And so they're going to grow up without any memories of any of those properties.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is Disney before, right? This is Disney's like big problem is that Disney was a trusted brand. Disney was a brand that you could purchase the Disney Channel, put your kids in front of the TV, and then play the Disney Channel. And then like you would just know that anything that comes up on the Disney Channel is probably okay for your kids. Not the case anymore.
Opponents are shooting themselves in the foot. We just have to be careful in how we move forwards.
Yeah.
We have to build out networks, which we're already working to do. We need to move forwards with technology where science says, this is too much for me. This is, the left tries to censor the degree to which we can move forwards with science.
Yep.
They believed my methods were too radical, too controversial. But there were others in the shadows.
Fucking what's her name, Moira?
Searching for ways to
Fucking hell,
circumvent their rules.
So true.
Freed from my shackles, the pace of our research hastened. Together, we delved deeper into those areas forbidden by law and by fears. And with this knowledge, what new world could we build?
I like Moira.
But that's the basic plan that we need in terms of, and we've been funding this stuff from behind the scenes. Like some of it has been found out with money that we raise. They're like, oh, you funded X sketchy technology. It's like, yeah, we're moving forwards. And we maintain access lines to the technology that you're getting. So when and if state structures start to break down, we know who to call up to begin to set up, gene labs and stuff like that in other places to begin to set up.
Yeah, guys, I will fund robots for VR for AI VTubers.
Nuclear
I'm
reactors
doing it.
to begin to set up fabs that can print basically anything you want at a fairly low cost to begin to set up. I mean, I don't want to go over all the technology that we've been sourcing, but yeah, I mean, we've been moving forward.
Can I fund
on
cat girls
everything
instead?
we need for
If we got out of the way and we aimed everything at having cat girls, we could have cat girls in like 6 years. We could have them in 6 years if we just told the AI, we made 1,000 AI agents and we had them on the cat girl question. We would have cat girls in 6 years. 100%, man.
Sustaining settlements and stuff like that to be able to then push from.
It would have to be I learned this, by the way, from this research. I did research this, by the way, but the time would have to be short. I mean, it would have to be long in order to develop the cat girl thing because apparently biological forcing your body to grow stuff is a lot of heat, and if you do it too fast, you'll fucking burn yourself. Like actually, like literally, like you would literally melt yourself if you did it too fast.
There back into, and our goal,
like Titans, yes, like Titans, basically, yeah.
Is not to capture all of society. It's not to capture all of culture. It's to capture the efficacious individuals with a high degree of work ethic and a high degree of intelligence.
It's to create a sustainable ecosystem of autonomous, independent, and quite varied cultures and groups who can inherit the future together and also, intermix, learn from each other, cultivate resilience among each other.
Well, they don't need to intermix if they don't want to. The point
no,
is,
of course, if they don't want to, yeah.
Intermix, like share technology and ideas so that we can use the technology to move ourselves forwards. And this is why we see it as very important to not.
Hold on, it's like this. Hold on, it's the instant meme making right here. lie, though?
is
Where's the
Leaflit?
lie? It's so true. It's so good.
Be overly aggressive towards groups that are persistently high technology. We have to find a way
Well,
for
not
those
both. Well, like they're both doing it together. Yeah, yeah. It's just the reasons are different.
groups that are persistently high technology.
What AI would you recommend for beginners, dude? Honestly, Gemini is pretty great now, except for the fact that it's a little bit woke. If you can like stand that, like you can't make fucking a game where it lassos like, you know, people, then Gemini is pretty good right now, just because it's fast. The speed is really good on Gemini. So
We have to find a way for those groups to work with each other, because that's all that matters.
it's cheap too. It's cheap compared to other stuff. It's like a lot cheaper.
Future, the age of AI and the age of space travel. We simply do not need to lower ourselves to the savages, right? If the communists captured the savages and made them impotent, we don't need them
So like, for
anymore.
instance, like I could take that thing. I could take this, and I just run this through this real fast. 3, 8.
We can replace
You'll see
it.
how
That's what
fast
AI
this is.
gives
It's
us the tools
ridiculous.
to do. And people are like, well, AI has a leftist bias. Completely irrelevant if you use the right prompts, right? Like
That's
if
true,
you, that's one of the things with
Well,
artifacts.
if you use the right prompts and the right systems. Gemini is very woke.
I mean, you could even create just a regular AI engine that has a prompt reminding it to not be woke, and it won't be woke, right? Like it's very easy.
So
to do.
what people would push back and say is you can't change the fact that the training data available to
Yes, you can. You literally can. This is so annoying and so stupid. It does not matter that an AI has a leftist bias if you are engaging with the AI without.
Cat girls. No child will ever die from disease again.
So stupid, dude. Oh man, dude, I'm telling you, it's so fast. It's so fast now. Like we are in a time where we get this stuff. This stuff happens so quick.
Cat girls. No child will ever die from disease again.
Like, how crazy is that? That was so fast.
Any prompting that is negating the leftist bias. If you
But wait, Malcolm, when literally people are choosing not to publish peer-reviewed research that confirms many conservative stances, for example, and then disproportionately you see a lot of peer-reviewed research that is published that confirms more left-leaning stances, even if you're prompting AI to answer a certain way, you can't change the fact that the available
factually
information.
wrong, Simone. That's factually wrong. And this is
Okay,
what
explain
annoys
that to me.
And it actually, like, these people who are saying this stuff are deep enemies of the conservative movement, because they are trying to psyops the conservative movement into a learned helplessness. The reality is that if you put prompts into an AI, telling it to take on a conservative persona, or a persona of X-religious background, or a persona of a person with Y beliefs that are
Basically, what he's talking about is that you have to pre-prompt. You have to pre-prompt the AI. You have to pre-prompt the AI. You have to contextualize the AI by telling it what it is, and you can sometimes get around stuff. It's difficult for certain things, especially like audio visual stuff becomes a little bit harder. But there are a lot of different AI models that you can use that do exist. Grok is pretty good unless you're trying to make prawn. Again, Gemini can do a lot of stuff as well. There's also Seed Dance. I mean, you've got you've got ChatGPT. There's a bunch of different ones that you can use. Yeah. Thank you, Ninja Tonically. All-purpose cultural cat girl Nuka Nuka.
like the beliefs of the host of the show Basecamp or something like that. After going through what those beliefs were, it will, with a high degree of veracity, follow that prompting structure.
Wait, does that work? Hold on. It can't do it. It can't do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know.
Get an AI.
I can't get it to do it. I can't get it to do. Gemini is too
that
crazy.
prompting structure. The fact that you can't get an AI veracity follow that prompting structure. The fact that you can't get an AI that you have not prompted to this is basically what it's like. It's like me going to an image generation AI and a person says to me, they go, Malcolm, image generation AIs weren't all trained on anime. And so if you just ask it to make art, it almost never makes anime art. And I'm like, all of mine on RFab always create anime art. And they go, huh, how do you get it to do that? And I go, because it silently puts the words anime style before every request, you tard. Sorry, like this actually gets me because
actually, you know what? This would be a good thing to talk to him about because I think he's right for the most part, but I also think that Simone is right, and that like it's very difficult to make certain cultural things because of it. Again, like for instance, trying to make like the Lasso game right within like Gemini. So talk about AI censorship.
It's such a stupid.
Does allow me to produce like a person or like a snake? It's whatever you want, man. I don't know. Depend on allow me. I want you to ask Rana that question. Zergan, thank you so much for the 100. If you look, the look you froze on, she's giving Malcolm.
Hard. Sorry, like this actually gets me because it is such a stupid level of learned helplessness that it fires me up. It's like somebody comes to me and they go, we need to ban chainsaws. And I go, why? And then they show me this stump where their arm used to be. And they go, they can cut off your arm. And I'm like, oh my God, did the chainsaw do that?
He does have a good point, though, is that like we still need AI. We can still utilize it. And it's way more powerful for us than it is for the Quangos because the Quangos can't make anything. They can't do anything. They can't do anything that resonates with people other than their own people.
On its own, and they're like, no, I put my arm on a tree stump and then I chainsawed it off. It's like, so you did it. It's like when people are like, oh look, I got the.
It's like that bear card, right? Like nobody wants that except them. Like literally nobody. Nobody wants it.
AI to do a terrible thing, and it's like, how did you do it? And it's like, well, I told it to do a terrible thing, and it's like,
it's not even that people. Like, it's even beyond that. People detest that card. People detest that card because it's making a thing sexual that isn't sexual.
It's just trying to do what you told it to. If you prompt an AI to do something without any direction not to do it in a certain way, when you know it has a proclivity to do things in that way, then of course it's going to act in that way. We all know this. We know how AI works. We know how token predictors work. You need to provide a prompt that prevents it from acting this way. It's not that it's impossible that the thing that they're talking about could be a problem. If it was true that no matter what prompting you put in, or you could prove to me that no matter what prompting you put in, that you could not get a sane answer out of the AI, then I would say, oh, that's very interesting and very concerning. But the people who look into this, I have not seen any of them attempt to show me that yet. Instead, what they show me is without any prompting attempting to correct this, that AI does what we would predict it to do based on how much the left has controlled the training data and culture for so long, which isn't interesting to me, and it can be used to get other people who otherwise would intelligently engage with AI and find ways around this to not engage with AI, which ends up nerfing our own side, which is why I crash out over this so hard. And the thing that gets me angry the most is learned helplessness or encouraging learned helplessness. Simone would know this from our relationship. Like if you go and somebody says, I don't know how to do something. And I'm like, well, did you try to figure it out? And they're like, well, no. It's like,
this is kind of like a similar, like along the lines of like toxic positivity, right? Where it's like, oh, well, there's nothing you can do about it. Like there's always something you can do about it, right?
Well, then don't come to me until you at least try first. It is irrelevant that this is in the training data.
He's so fired up.
AIs can easily get around their training data with prompting. And if you can't get around it with the first layer of prompting, then you get around it with a second layer of prompting. Or you could run a secondary AI.
I'm not talking about the training data. I'm talking about also available information, like just what is out there.
And if we are able to deduce what is true from what is out there, AI can deduce what is true from what is out there using the same internal heuristics that we use to determine what is true. If you read
That's
the book,
true,
The
yeah.
Pragmatist's Guide to Life, we go over this in an extreme amount of detail. How can you determine what is true when you are looking at evidence from a captured industry? So you can say something like, if a big oil company puts out a report about how bad oil is for the environment or something like that, you can be more sure that that's true than if they put out a report saying oil isn't bad for the environment.
If it aligns or not with their intentions, right? So you have to consider, like, in everything, the intention and the intention and desires are like, you have to be able to know those, and once you know those, you can understand everything,
a global warming,
or at least not get tricked as much.
Nonprofit or a major university institution puts out a paper saying, oh, global warming is happening faster than anyone expected.
Did he write The Pragmatist's Guide to Life? He did. Yeah, that was him. He wrote that.
Right? You can say, okay, I can't really trust that. If they put out something that disconfirms their agenda, and there's like 50 points we go through in our book that goes through various ways to tell, even when you're dealing with captured institutions, when you're dealing with information that is more likely to be true or information that is less likely to be true, you can then feed these heuristics into AI. And somebody could then say, well, what if it still gets it wrong on the first output? It's like, then you use a multi-layered output. This is what, if you go to rfab.ai and then you go to our super search feature, this is what we use. We do multi-layered AI web searches using different mainstream models, where they basically go through and they have to confirm point by point what every one of the other models output. And it is very good at removing both hallucinations and bias. I can further remove bias by putting in prompting to make it more explicitly conservative if I wanted to. But what I've noticed is that the vast majority of time, when I have heard conservatives complain about bias in AI, they're just being stupid. They are crashing out about something where the AI is right and they simply were unaware. In fact, I will go further. I will say, around 75% of the times, I get a comment in show notes saying, Malcolm, you have made a mistake by believing in AI hallucination. And then I double check it. It turns out the AI was right, and the person who said I believed in AI hallucination was wrong. Your average human is worse at determining AI hallucinations than AIs. A great example, somebody was like, oh, Austria was never split into two countries like Germany during the Cold War. That's an AI hallucination. I go and check it. No, it absolutely was. It would have been very easy. There was a great example recently where I was just like, oh my God, somebody said something with an AI hallucination, and I go check, and I'm like, do you remember what it was, Simone?
This has happened so many times. I don't have a specific instance in mind.
So you know that, like,
It was like that. Remember that dude that was like saying that they said that I had a false dichotomy.
It happens all the time with us. Somebody will accuse us of an AI hallucination. It turns out the AI is right.
Yeah, and I'll look it up. Or, well, it's also just other stuff. They're like, did you know this? And then I'll look it up and it's not quite true. But then, we have a lot of other people who give us really good feedback. So,
yeah,
whatever.
It's not that I've never fallen for an AI hallucination in the show. It's just that the majority of the time I get called up for it, it wasn't.
Well, I think also more importantly, you literally build tools like super search on rfab.ai to like overcome them, because you do care about avoiding hallucinations.
Somebody stopped using our products with their kid because
what you could do, by the way, like what you could do if you really, really need to know if something is true, is you run it through 2 AIs at a time. And then that will make it easier for you to check if it's true or not.
We're using the whistling system that embodies. And this was because the kid asks them about like when Jewish slaves built the pyramids, and then it replied saying, biblically accurately, Jewish slaves did not build the pyramids. They built supply depots outside of, I think, Memphis. And that you have a cartoonish vision of Christian history that you learn. And well, they didn't insult the kid, but they just tried to gently explain that isn't what the Bible says. And the parent crashed out. A parent, by the way, who had an Oxford degree in theology. So, okay. But a lot of people are just very confident about things, and then they get mad when the AI doesn't affirm their confidence, right? Mm-hmm. But to continue here, we could go into Yuri Bezmenov, which people often like to talk to.
Yeah, Yuri Bezmenov was right.
We could. I just want to say that one thing that really is hitting me with all this, going back to the commies winning, is that when I was in school and also just generally growing up, this idea of the Red Scare and of people blacklisting people who are suspected to have communist sympathies was framed as both just super overwrought and pointless and also misguided. Like, oh, these people weren't actually communists and these people weren't actually.
It's come out that most of the major figures who, like, we were taught in school were unfairly judged actually were communist agents.
Okay, so yeah, I was wondering if that was the case. And also now it just hits me that, like,
classic. Oh, it's like these guys weren't actually communists. Oops.
they
were.
We actually have not done that enough.
It's like you're playing like a I don't know, Death Note or Among Us or whatever, and then that guy's like, I swear, guys, like, I'm innocent. Like, see, nothing happened when I was being observed, but they were actually like
there wasn't
the
enough
scum the
of a
whole
Red Scare.
time.
Or we kind of stopped and we're like, oh, I guess we won the Cold War. The communist threat is over. And then it all, like, who knew that? And like, my views totally changed on that, because I really grew up thinking like, oh, a bunch of people went on this witch hunt and they did all this sanctimonious, like, oh, he's a commie when he wasn't. And yet, like, here's this hit list of things they wanted to do. And all of the, like, well, certainly not all the boxes, I'm sure. There must be some things that weren't achieved, but everything you read off, box ticked, mission accomplished. So yeah, it's kind of mind blowing to me that this witch hunt that I've been told about all my life, well, one, the witches were real. Yeah. 2, we didn't hunt them hard enough. And 3, the witches won.
We
now live in their twisted witch world.
A healthy country. We should be treating anyone with any communist connection the same way we treat people with Nazi connections. The communists killed more people than the Nazis did. They are, throughout history, a more evil political faction than the Nazis ever were in terms of the brutality of the things that they did. And I'm like, by the way, that's saying a lot.
Giga chat based.
But like, if, for example, you compare the concentration camps that the Nazis had, which I have read about the worst descriptions of them, they simply do not compare in terms of cruelty to the concentration camps of the Khmer Rouge. Like the Khmer Rouge concentration camps, Simone, you want to cover your ears for this.
Oh my
Just
God.
cover your ears, take out your thing.
La, 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 la,
they would, when you go into the camps, they would have rotting babies that they had cut out of pregnant women.
Oh my
hanging
goodness.
from umbilical cords on the entranceway. They would take children and bury them in anthills up to their face and let the ants slowly sting and kill them.
Holy
They would
crap.
have children brutally
What
kill
the
their own
fuck?
parents. Like, okay, you can come back.
Now I can't rewatch this episode.
They
much for
wouldn't,
that.
because unlike the Nazis who, when they would kill people, they'd use gases and stuff like this. The Khmer Rouge,
Daniel said that was a bit silly, but cute.
Waste
Yeah, she
the
doesn't
money
like
of
that
bullets
stuff
in the killing fields.
Especially when it deals with kids. She doesn't want to hear it, basically.
Just bring them out and beat them to death.
Well,
so
that costs money and calories.
They didn't care about that. So I want to give you an idea.
Listen, not all of us grew up on Rotten and Faces of Death, okay, guys, and on Live Leak, okay? Not all of us had that.
Of like, and note here we're not even talking about like other things. You're like, well, that's just what did the Russians do? They did things like left people on islands to starve to death and all kill each other slowly. Like, again, I am not underselling the genuine horror of what the Nazis did. They did some of the most horrifying acts in history. It's just like when you compare like to like, communists are generally worst. The worst, and they did, like, okay, sorry, I should go. They experimented on children. Nazi did. They mass killed people in really painful ways. They killed children, like all the horrible things they did. It's just maybe they weren't as creative as the Khmer Rouge were in instances. But yeah,
it was pretty creative.
Horrifying.
That thing he said earlier.
But let's go to
pretty
Yuri
damn
Bezmenov
creative.
here. But the reason I'm saying this is we need to treat these two the same way. Anyone who has ever affiliated themselves with a communist organization should be absolutely the same way, like not necessarily removed from society, but the same way that like you can't get a job if you were affiliated with a Nazi organization, or you'd be hounded out of politics, or we need to, whenever they're like, oh, a Nazi.
It's actually worse. You want to know why? Nazis are more employable than communists because not only are the communists worse, but the Nazi will probably do his job. Whereas the communist won't. Where's the lie, though? Where's the lie, chat?
Came to one of your events. You're like, did a communist come to one of your events? Have you checked for that? Because we've got to be realistic about this. We've got to keep a clear eye at history and how evil these groups are and their end goals. You can see here that when they say they care about things like native groups, that they explicitly had it in their planning to remove colonialist powers from native regions before those regions had the ability to self-govern, because they wanted to cause suffering on those
You say the trains round, bro.
groups so they could
I
take
can't.
over. And we saw this. We could go into like what happened with India and Churchill trying to prevent them from pulling out fast enough, and it ended up causing one of the most like India and Pakistan
That's
going
so
to war.
fucking dark, dude. That's so fucking dark. Holy shit.
War with each other when that absolutely didn't need to happen. If they had just waited and carried out the plan that Churchill was trying to carry out. But that's a whole other thing we're not going to go into. But to continue here, Yuri Bezmenov is a former communist. He's the one from Leaflit song about college where
Yeah, that's all I know of Yuri Bezmenov was he was right. Per
That's me.
Leaflet. That's like where it's and
So he
starts
said
ending.
the plan for the Russian communists was demoralization, 15 to 20 years, focus on the school and education system, corrupt the education system, media, art, and religion to erode moral values, patriotism, critical thinking, and cultural identity, to pump
Leaflet
Marxist
mentioned.
Leninist ideology into students via teachers, textbooks, and university, promote relativism, destroy traditional standards, make people unable to access true information even when presented with facts. He explicitly mentioned that by the 1980s, this had already affected generations of American students. Destabilization, 2 to 5 years, the economy, foreign relations, defense, and social fabric, create chaos and division, then crisis up to 6 weeks, i.e. COVID, precipitate a major upheaval where people demand radical change, and then normalization. The new subverted system becomes accepted as normal, often with force to stabilize it under the new ideology. Useful idiots, leftists, activists, academics, etc., from earliest stages are no longer needed and now may need to be eliminated, as we saw in the Islamist revolution in Iran. So communists won. And now we need to fight back, but we're winning against them right now because it turns out that when they have power, having gained it through all of these systems, the one
Yeah, guys, and who was the front line? Who was the front? Who was the ones holding the line? Was that the gamers and the weeps? Was that us? I'm pretty sure that was us, man. I'm just saying that they can hate anime all they want, they can hate games all they want, but we saved their asses.
one thing they didn't think about is how are we going to still win the war of art when we've made all of our games actively unfun and ugly? How are we going to actively win media?
And that's why they fucking hate us. And that's why they want to take everything that's ours and take a big fat shit on it because they're mad.
If we've made everything unfun and ugly, when people can
Because the gamers were pissed off since Gamergate. And this is why they bring it up all the time. Oh my God, Gamergate, bullshit again. This is why. Because they know that they fucked up with Gamergate. That's why. Void Chosen, thank you so much. Thank you.
no longer trust education, how does controlling these organizations have any institutional power, right? When somebody, the AI guy was like, well, you can't trust.
All I gotta say is like, look at the people that are actually exerting real pressure right now. Real social pressure in the culture right now. Who is it?
Who the fuck
It's
is
fucking
Leaflit?
gamers and weebs. That's it. Because what are they making? Where's the propaganda from the right? Fucking nothing. I guess Angel Studios, right, too. But like, where is it from? Like, you know, the what you gonna tell me what the Daily Wire, the Daily Wire making social pressure? Okay, dude.
Educational institutions to do good science. When I'm getting my science, I don't often get it from educational institutions. I'm like going through independent Substacks these days and stuff like that because everybody knows that's where the best research is done, right? Like we pointed this out. Everyone I know is
To
like
be fair, Matt Walsh did What Is a Woman? That's fair. That's fair.
independent, like really good researcher in fields now. Nobody goes to the academics.
Who else though? Like, I guess you could say Clavin did from Daily Wire. No one else really.
anymore as the first line of defense because it's just not.
Yeah, the White House has been releasing fucking memes, dude. I know, but like, but see, the thing is, you know for a fact that that person who's doing that is totally our faction. Also the what do you call it? Trump, honestly, the entire Trump faction, honestly, does not count as like the old right. It's not even close. In fact, they fucking hate him. You remember how much they hated Trump until he started winning everything for them?
Where the cutting edge research is. You want to go cutting edge sexuality research, you're going Ayla. You want to go cutting edge genetics research, you're going Emil Kierkegaard or Razib Khan, right? Like, you simply aren't going to the academics anymore because they're not any good anymore, right? They lost. Obviously, the sheep still follow them. The sheep still repeat, but you don't need to. And people can be like, well, how do you get an AI to not listen to the sheep? You tell it not to. I do not. It's like not trying step one of fixing the problem and then getting mad at the thing, right? Like going into an AI that you know has a bias and not putting in a prompt to correct for that bias and then getting mad at.
Honestly, though, sorry, and there's a little bit of a tangent here, but honestly, I think that they're doing a great job. Like whoever's like doing the White House meme shit and like the alien website, the aliens are among us, the whoever's doing that, whoever's doing like the Harambe memes, the freaking Pokemon memes, whoever is doing that is honestly doing such a good job with like actually making real propaganda, like real positive propaganda, like for us basically, right?
The AI is like,
I don't think propaganda is necessarily bad.
Image of the guy sticking the stick in the spokes of the bicycle, and then the bicycle
I make
falls
propaganda
over,
all the time.
and then he says, bicycle, how could you fall over?
That baby is propaganda. The baby right there, that's propaganda. And there's gonna be propaganda at the end of this video too.
You know what I should do? I'm gonna do this on the website.
Okay.
Next feature I'm gonna make is gonna be based AI. So I'm going to have a number of ways that correct for bias in AI.
It's probably going to be up next week.
And then create normal AI
this guy works lightning fast. This guy's
models
crazy.
Outside of any of the mainstream ecosystems. Maybe even have it run by default in alloy mode, which will be different from like a generic companion or narrative engine or something like that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fix this for you guys who can't figure out how to fix it on your own, so that we don't have this problem anymore. And you can just come
there it is. Solve the problem.
AI and get your based
See,
AI.
this is why I like Basecamp. They solve the problem. They're like, there's a problem, I'm fixing it.
Takes.
Works for me. I love you, Malcolm. This scares me, but I mean, we already knew things were bad. We just didn't know.
It is incredibly scary to see that like the commies had like this roadmap and they're just like hit all the way down. Right? They never miss. They never miss.
Who the fuck
Also,
is
part
leaving?
of a communist plan. So, okay, fine.
How's the anti-riggers
Okay.
AI? There's an update for tomorrow, apparently.
Okay. All right. Love you, Simone. Have a good one.
You too. Bye, gorgeous.
Wow, she called him gorgeous this time.
Can't wait.
I don't see how anyone can think that they hate each other. That's so weird. I guess because they disagree with stuff. I don't know. How's that bad? I don't know.
All right. And dinner tonight, what is the story?
Ooh, what is for dinner tonight?
So it looks like my dad's just gonna stay at the hospital. So, and I think Minka will be there too. She's gonna bring him the Thai curry I made. So
Thai curry.
I
It's difficult
can make
to
you
make.
Thai curry with more curry paste, or we can do hot dog and French fry night like we'd planned.
Oh, we do have to eat the
Nice.
French
That
fries
sounds
and the hot dogs at some
delicious.
point. Let's just do hot dogs and French fries. Are we doing it with
Very
potatoes or are they
American.
like pre-made French fries?
They're pre-made French fries that I'm going to add some additional.
Peels? Wait, like they make like potato peel fries? Dude, those are the best. I love those. They're so good.
Well, we'll see if we can make them good. That would be an interesting experiment.
I love those like fried like potato peels. Like when you peel potatoes like from making something else, you save the peels and then you like kind of dry them out and then drop them in the fryer. I love those. They're so good.
Yeah. I mean, add a little bit of MSG.
I love
Chop up
it.
some
Potato peel.
onion or some, what do we have?
Oh, for the hot dog. I saved the shallot that you bought.
Nice.
Yeah, so a shallot would be nice. Yeah.
And
Okay.
you have all the sauces, a billion.
Dude, if you guys don't know this, Costco has shallots and they're insanely cheap. You get like an entire fucking bag for like $5. Ridiculous.
Sauces. So
So that's, all right.
I think you'll be.
And then what I do if I have too many shallots is I slice them up real thin with like a mandolin, and then I fry them and I make little like shallot crispies, which is like pretty common in like Southeast Asian cooking. And then you just have like a jar of these, and you can just sprinkle them on top of curry and stuff. It's delicious.
Just fine, sir.
All right, let's see here.
Yeah, really nice to put in soups. Where are they going? Bugnet. Classic.
I just want to run inside and take a dump. Oh my god.
What do you see? I don't know.
Damn. That's awesome.
The land promised treason.